but again, we talked about it yesterday. There's only 4 maps. You should play all of them.
Yeah. I was also looking forward to some of the agent selection if we put kind of the win rates aside and really think about how these teams want to play it out, and really not seeing too many adaptations in terms of anything new or different. Arena, definitely no Rays, which I find quite interesting. Sometimes you might see the Rays here. This time is just going to be something similar to what they played on Haven. And now with the B push in motion, fish123 looking to try to take it by storm, and so far it hasn't worked out for them quite yet. Angel will find one through the smoke, and still fish123 trying to inch forward, and they've got a kind of a weird crossfire setup. SSK gets in deep, and already have to point out that as Angel pushes in deep with the Brimstone rather, and now they're at a little bit of a standstill. Smoke's down, not really giving fish123 the opportunity to push in, and there are a couple of members here in the back of sight, so even if they make their way through, they'll be dealt with some resistance. But it's going to be Angel now pushing forward. As a look towards the fruit market, don't see anyone there quite yet. One going to be in the fish market and the other in the workshop. Still 20 seconds left on the clock, and they'll hightail it over towards A.
SSK in the B site with the Cypher there. Angel, who's swapped over to a different role, going to be now rotating across. Caught out by SSK, or not Angel. That was mislabeling there. That's my mistake. I was like, that wouldn't make much sense. Angel always plays the Brim. That was a little confusing there. Scream hitting great shots in here as the breach. That's just what Scream does. Finds 4 on the round for the side of fish123. They do end up taking the site. I gotta stop reading the labels. That's on me.
Yeah, I actually made the same mistake. I was like, SSK, he's going wild. He finds the frag, and no, it is in fact Angel, of course, and something that we expect.
Fixed it. It's okay.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. We're already, the wheels are on the ground, and we're moving along.
I'm curious to see where this dart goes that Solkis is lining up. We've seen actually some really awesome Sova darts from darts from inside the A site. So what you can do is, we saw, I'm trying to remember who did it. They slow orb and nade on long, and then there's 2 shock darts sent out from basically generator on the A site. So either you sit there and you eat the nade damage, or you back off and 2 shock darts land right on top of you. We saw it work twice. It's a pretty cool strat. Obviously, it costs a lot of utility early on for an advantage, but in the early parts of a game, like in, say, maybe like a pistol round or the round that follows, maybe even the first buy round, that could be huge because you're not going to have the res available, and maybe the money isn't perfect, so it's a great way to get yourself a leg up without having to take a direct firefight with weaponry. Speaking of weaponry, PartyParrots working with pistols and shotguns. It should be somewhat simple of a round coming in from fish123. They've already made their way up short, and they're starting to come through the door. The pistol from Artist gets a little out of control. SSK is still here. They're starting to move back, though, and they're going to be heading over to that B site. That should have actually been not SSK. That was Angel as the brand. Excuse me.
So far, I quite like what has transpired in the round here for fish123. Of course, it is pistols, but they had a little bit of an engagement towards Catwalk. Scream is going to find 3 on the round. Weapons will get picked up, likely by the defense, but unfortunately, it's only 2 that'll fall from the attack. But that was a very interesting push. They had an engagement towards Catwalk, trying to push in towards A, but there was 2 or 3 in the middle for fish123 the entire time, and once things started to get a little bit chaotic, they all pushed in at the same time, and that seems to be the name of the game for fish123. They really like to create a lot of chaos and send mixed signals towards their opponents. You know, where are we going to be? Where's the push in? We even saw that on Split in one of the last and final rounds. Scream using the Rolling Thunder towards B, and it's the entire team pushing A. And so likely going to continue on that same trend, keeping their opponent guessing. But now with the weapons online for the PartyParrots, let's see how they're able to hold what looks like an A site push.
You know, I got a little excited in the knife round because we saw the Jet play, and I was like, oh, please tell me we're going to see a Jet here, because we haven't really seen much Jet play. And even though that's an agent I thought was somewhat trash early on, as I was like, I just don't feel like it fits into the competitive meta, I've changed my tune. Here, we'll see them get access to the A site, somewhat unencumbered, as the defense doesn't really do much to prevent it. Eccles will be the first one to spill some blood. And that'll be Angel, who's now watching for the rest of the round. A lot of the attack currently on the other side of Long. There's 2 currently in Hell, and they're going to start working their way in. There's the ult getting popped. That sends one up into the sky, but the retake continues to come through. Solkas here with the recon dart from inside Hell. The dart gets destroyed almost instantly. They're still trying to make their way out. The players on Long setting up a crossfire with the player in sight. It's come down to a 2-on-2 regardless, and now it's just Scream going for that peak. It's going to be Eccles against the Sova, and Xiao as the Sova finding a third on the round. PartyParrots narrowly survive as Xiao swaps off the Raze to play the Sova and converts in the first full buy round.
That's what I call great crosshair placement. Even the grumpy cat to follow up. I would definitely feel grumpy if I just got domed like that through the smoke. Good stuff there coming out from PartyParrots, and they'll keep that momentum going, but that momentum will likely come to a halt for both teams as the economy in a very difficult spot. It's going to be the force up for both sides, and whoever wins the round will be the victor of the economy, and that'll start to go to their side. So if fish123 are able to squeeze this one out, really expect a great attacker side from them, because those rounds are going to start to lay on, and this is supposedly a defender-sided map in Europe, and so things might get really scary for PartyParrots fast, and we saw on Split, a map that they're comfortable on, how fish123 were able to make ends meet on some early rounds and really keep that momentum going.
I have retrieved the spike.
Here's the crazy thing. This is only the first series. There's another game after this. The first series for us.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of wild. I keep forgetting that the show continues on after this one. This match has already delivered so many exciting moments. A back-and-forth battle that's pushed us to this third map, but there's still more to come. Curious to see who's going to be moving on from this series into the playoffs tomorrow. We find ourselves at that early 2-1 scoreline in favor of fish123. Artist going to go ahead and throw that wall up, and they're instantly going to chisel away at that ice. A slow orb comes down. There's the dart through the wall. The ult being popped by Xiao. The Hunter's Fury working out quite nicely there as Link gets dropped after 2 quick shots. A nice dodge on the Al drone by Artist to make sure they don't get spotted. But the attack still has not made it out of B-Tons.
I like that pull away. They had the recon bolt in the fish market, and their backs turned, of course, give them the information that it might not be the B-take, but a couple of shots might now start to pull those members back that originally left. Eccles pushing up aggressively through Pizza, grabbing a quick slice first, but there's 13 seconds left on the clock. They need to push in aggressively. Scream with one, Angel with the trade. It's still Artist in the back of sight, and they weren't able to clear it out, but he can't find the shot. Angel with the cross makes ends meet. Cryptics, though, right in front, right behind, finds 2, but can't get the spike down. And now the last member alive, shots around the corner. SSK, he wants none of that and backs away. So we're tied up now. It's 2-2, but still the economy kind of a little bit lopsided. However, it is PartyParrots that are starting to develop a little bit of a lead.
Echoes of map 1. If you remember, towards the tail end of map 1, fish123 struggled to find site control, and in fact, in the very last round, the round they lost that ultimately saw them lose that first map, they went for like a 15-second A execute when there was a Brim ult available. And ultimately, they lost the round as a result. Almost playing a little bit too slow, a little bit too cautious. fish123, gonna need to pick up the pace just a little bit. Obviously, you don't want to just run into sites. You want to try and bleed out utility. You want to try and figure out what it is the defense is doing. But if they take too long, they just give too much time over to the defense. I like the flash peek coming out from Angel. Overstays his welcome as the pistol's present. And yikes, that flash is right on the money. But Angel just sitting still, or the breach, excuse me, just sitting still. Not worrying about it. That's SSK.
Really breach charge there from SSK, and unfortunately it won't work out. Resurrection puts it back to the 5v4 in a round that seems to be kind of giving the ability PartyParrots to have a little bit of a successful round, considering how the buy looks for the side of fish123. It's starting to really fall apart here. Ultimate into the defender spawn gives information that Xiao's playing relatively close. Now the funnel will start to come in. Recon bolt up above. Give a little bit more information on who's funneling in. So far, the execute has not come through. Recon bolt of their own as fish123 are looking to clear out the defender spawn to make sure this is an easy take for them. Already, a push in from Eccles, but he's only got a ghost, so he can't really get the job done. And as a result, the information from all of the utility used on the B site will cause them to pull over. But we've seen this before. fish123 taking so much time to get that spike down. If Dinksjay just looks over, actually, no, he can't. That's behind the generator. So that spike will go down. And now here comes the retake. It's a 3v5, going to be a difficult site to push in on.
Area.
Dart coming out towards the site to try to give away position. They know there's some in hell. There's guaranteed to be a few bodies there. The Dart up top doesn't necessarily give away position of Dinksjay. His team does take it out. There's the cam giving them the intel, spotting out the players and where they might be. The Bulldog just can't be accurate enough to squeeze a bullet over that wood. And Scream has jumped up top into heaven. You can see the rest of the defense is like, dude, we're done. See ya. Like, you're on your own. So isolated and alone, he was on the site. fish123 able to take that A site control and keep control of it with all 5 players surviving. A flawless round victory coming in from the attack. Or so we thought. Solka thought he could get away from the spike, but ends up dropping to it in the end.
So having a look back towards the match that PartyParrots had against G2 on Split, PartyParrots had a really good defender side against G2. In fact, G2 were only able to squeeze out 3 rounds on their attacker side. And for the side of PartyParrots, things are already starting to not look like it's going to be that case. It's very, very close. And what that might tell me is that fish123, while a rough first map, have really started to wake up and are showing, maybe how you said earlier on, showing us the strats and saving them for the major. Well, this might be the major that they want to show those strats. And so things are really starting to come alive for fish123.
Xiao staying back as the Sova. You know, this is something we've seen in NA, that sort of theory crafting. And we've seen teams actually put it into play. The Sageless meta on Ascent. Not going to see it here, but I was curious to see if either of these teams were going to take more of a gamble or a role change. I am a little bit disappointed at the lack of Omen. Omen on Ascent is so incredibly good because of how many choke points there are. You can use that paranoia in so many spots. Omen definitely very powerful. I like the adjustment from fish123 to bring the Omen into play. But again, it's just the way they play. Eccles always plays the Omen. So, I don't know. I wish that maybe Angel would have switched off the Brim to the Omen for this map. We'll see if it makes a difference. There's the ult coming through from that man himself. Shao's going to pick off 2 as they get stuck on the ice, trying to escape the orbital strike. They're clawing their way through that slow. And as they escape it, they run right into his crosshair. Shao's not going to get any more on the site. Angel's only going to convert on 1. A 2-on-2 where they lose site control. Eccles goes down to SSK, who's playing as the Breach. The ult gets popped, but it's just too late. And in fact, Solkus escapes the last wave of that Rolling Thunder. So now he's made it into the U-house in the back of site, waiting for the push to come through. He's in the muck. He hears them coming up lane. First one will be his. He's got a recon dart going down as well. Goes for the swing, beating with the recon dart. Well played from Solkus there in the 1v2.
Yeah, that was a round that PartyParrots, they had it in the bag and they really fumbled it. And for fish123, they're starting a 2-round lead on a defender-sided map. I just have a feeling that PartyParrots really lost steam after Haven. Yeah, they kept it close on Split, but that was a map that they chose. That was a map that they showed that they could take G2, the team, you know, arguably the favorites for the tournament. And for the side of fish123, maybe yesterday just wasn't their day. Maybe they have the opportunity on a day like today to take NIP, but you know, we'll have to see as potentially one of these teams going to be moving forward towards the semifinals. Something that we've echoed time and time again, but one of these teams is going home, and that is just crazy to think about how highly skilled they are.
I love that shock dart to open up the round there, coming in from fish123. Dinksjay has to move, otherwise he would have been taken down. Delays as long as he can, goes to the peak, takes significant damage. His teammate tries to help defend. Angel will ultimately lose that battle against another Counter-Strike god-tier player with a lot of history, Scream himself. It's a 5-on-4, fish123 with the scoreboard advantage and the player advantage coming into the 7th round. 50 seconds left on the clock. They're starting to scoop up some control of mid, moving up towards Pizza. There's no one in market currently, so they're able to get past pretty easily.
We're seeing now potential fake towards B, and I like this play that fish123 have cooked up time and time again. We are seeing Eccles commit quite deeply towards this push, and on the opposite side, it's the rest of fish123 funneling in one at a time, ever so safely on towards that A site. The only person, of course, that'll hear this plan is SSK on the opposite side with the Bucky Link. Going to make the transition over very difficult. Shao going to be the first line of contact, and unfortunately caught looking in the wrong direction. Link will be now out of commission, down to the 3v3. Resurrection available, and as a result, SSK will be brought back into the mix. So now the 4v3, a very doable retake, but it's the red carpet that's rolled out for the PartyParrots as they'll now start to make their way onto the site. Solka's taken dangerously low, but it's Dinkshay that is taken out for the overzealous push on Heaven. And now Scream lining up a great shot, but unfortunately will meet to his demise by the Bucky. And now the Hunter's Fury makes Cryptix's spot here in the bottom very difficult, but he holds on, and it's 2 frags for him. Still the spike is ticking down, but he needs to hightail it out of there. Down to the 1v1. Artist might look to have a little bit more control towards the catwalk, but just at the edge of the spike, Cryptix is fallen. But that was a great hold from fish123.
fish123 continue to impress here in this first half. Again, we weren't really sure what to expect coming to Ascent because we honestly didn't think we were going to get here. fish123 lost the first map, which was Haven, a map that they've had a great run on in this tournament alone. And then we moved over to Split, a map that is PartyParrots' potentially best map. Ascent also on that list. They seem to play well on the less than conventional maps like Split, like Ascent, and then I think Bind is probably up there as well as one of their better maps. So that's why it was so surprising to see Haven as a win coming in from PartyParrots, and that's why we thought, okay, this is going to be a potential 2-0. But fish123 have kept themselves alive. And with 1:15 on the clock, we haven't really seen much action as of yet. That last round may have cost them quite a bit, but there was plenty of money left in the reserve for the full buy for fish123.
Similar to their strategies prior, it's the attack really divide and conquering, and really that's kind of a 50-50 call. You see these two members, Scream and Cryptix, pushing up towards the fish market. What if they fall? Then it's the 3v5. But we haven't really seen these little half pushes go awry for them quite yet. They've been quite successful in their distraction abilities. Eccles, of course, previous round, he was distracting towards B. He ended up falling, but there was 3 that were just easily able to push over towards that A site. But now you're seeing the reverse. It's Eccles, and it is, of course, Solkis on the opposite side. Eccles is going to fall from playing a little bit too forward, but that's what we've seen. And now there's only 1 towards B. They'll push in together. Artist is walled off here in the hut, and now they'll start to funnel in. Won't even trade there. It's Shao that has to find that frag. Wall going to be going up on the opposite side, and they'll have control of the B site.
So here's the problem right now. This again is another late round execute. They'll take down the other piece in the site, but not the spike planter. So Cryptix goes back behind double stack. Now the retake is underway here, but Soulcast has actually managed to come back and join up with Link. Both players in a similar position. As the spike continues to tick down, the retake underway. First one's going to be Link's to make it a follow-up as well onto Shao. There's one more. The recon dart potentially going to give away the position of the last player. Pulse goes down, and now the shots can start pouring through that wall. It's oh so porous. So it will be PartyParrots losing another, despite the late round execute coming in from fish123. This is something we've criticized them on a little bit, taking a little bit too long sometimes to get into sight. Reminding me of Navi in the earlier days of Counter-Strike, going down to those 20-second executes onto a site. It can be easily punished if you don't find those openings, or someone hits you with a slow orb, which is exactly what happened. Artist walled off lane and then had his slow orb go down. That could have been incredibly problematic for fish123. Luckily, they were able to fight their way out of it and managed to just somehow barely survive enough to get that spike plant.
And now they've got the 4-round lead. There's only 4 rounds that remain, including this one and a half, and it'll be moving on to a side that is quite favorable for fish123. So already, PartyParrots, they need to really figure things out and figure things out fast, because it is impossible to have a round lead now for PartyParrots. The best possible scenario is, of course, 6-6, and even then, you might see them start to struggle when they switch over to attack. But there's not a whole lot that we know in how these two teams. There isn't a lot of history between them. And so maybe PartyParrots has some strategies. Maybe they have some avenues out, but on a map like Split that was theirs and defender sided, they really did not have the greatest time. And so they need to figure things out quickly.
I mean, here's the thing. Fish123 has really only played Ascent a few times in recent history. Both of them were in this event. And they won one, lost one. They lost to NIP, and they beat Prodigy, which I don't know if you can really count that as a major win because Prodigy came into this one playing with their manager effectively, a new roster. It wasn't really working out. Whereas PartyParrots obviously had that impressive game against G2, taking them to overtime and winning 14-12. So, or losing, excuse me, 14-12. So, you know, they had a great game. We know what to expect from them historically as well. They seem to play okay on the map. Not great, but okay. But as I say that, they're just getting slaughtered right now. Fish123 looks really good on the attack, and they managed to again gain control of this B site, which typically is the harder of the two to get into. But once you're in it, way easier to hold. So the two remaining members of PartyParrots have their work cut out for them here in the retake.
Yeah, it's 2v3, still doable, of course, but can be quite difficult knowing now that they're going to be pushing it together. If one goes down, you might get the trade, but there's still two remaining in the back corner of the site. They decide to just pull off and keep their weapons. And quite honestly, if you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel confident pushing in, better be safe than sorry. But quite honestly, we saw this from Forza, how almost every single round that didn't go their way, they started to save, and really that they started to bleed rounds left and right as a result. And that can really just in turn lose you the game. Like, when are you going to start not saving and start actually pushing forward? Now, mind you, this is one of the first few times that we've seen PartyParrots save rather than go for the attempt. And quite honestly, maybe they just don't want to risk losing this opportunity to go to the semifinal. Maybe they just want to keep their dreams alive, and no harm, no foul, but they only have 2 rounds on the board, and it's a 5-round lead here for Fish123.
I mean, what happens in any scenario where you have two teams that don't play a map a whole lot or have limited experience on it at like a high level of competitive play? It usually boils down to whoever has the best aim, which, let's be fair, Scream is notorious for that. And that's probably why Scream is in position at the top of the scoreboard. 16-6. I mean, that's crazy good coming in from Scream currently. And on top of that, as much as I'm saying like, oh, we don't know what to expect, these teams, it should be a mechanical skill battle. That's not to be the case necessarily for Fish123. Even though Scream is top of the scoreboard, I like their executes. I just feel like they take a long time to make them happen. They're going to be going a little bit quicker this time around. DinksJ in the back of sight, hoping for some support. SSK using that dart to try and spot one out, and does. The orbital strike's going to come through as well. A nice stop on the initial push. DinksJ getting one more even onto the Sage, who was stuck on the other side of the wall. The spike is down, and it's down inside the site. This should be around here for PartyParrots, one they desperately needed to pick up.
It seems like every time that PartyParrots have some sort of success, it's when Angel has an orbital strike available. They played around it so well. I mean, you either push forward and meet your demise, or you pull back and separate from your team and let them die. And that seems to be what happened there. Regardless if one fell, I don't quite actually recall if one fell by the orbital strike or not, but regardless, they pushed in and they were met with a whole slew of gunfire by the defense. And so Scream trying to make it at least a little bit more expensive, but his alter ego SSK on the breach will be the one that takes him down, looking in towards the tree room. So an important round for PartyParrots to win, but as we are nearing the end of the first half, they need a lot more. Best possible scenario now, of course, 7-5, and I find that highly unlikely considering how Fish123 have been playing. Yes, they have slow executes, but they've been playing this little on a map not called Split, they've been playing this little split meta where they distract on one side and then they push towards another. And that information game, I said earlier, has a 50% chance of really going bad, but it hasn't really gone bad. Look at their round lead. They've got 4 rounds in a row, and this little split strategy has worked out quite well for them.
Yeah, I mean, they're baiting the rotates out currently from PartyParrots, forcing them to jump between different sides of the map by just putting some pressure on one side. As long as they see utility come in from 3 agents, that's enough to assume that that's the site of primary focus coming in from Fish123. I gotta say, though, I think chat's been being bad.
Why?
They've been put into timeout. It's emote mode only.
Oh,
what
no.
did you do?
Uh-oh.
I'm so disappointed, chat. We can do better. We can be better. Fish123 making their way towards the A site. Right now, they do have the Rolling Thunder. They've got the res. There's the Rolling Thunder to get them in. SSK's like, oh, shoot. Stuck behind the box. He's going to do the same. He's like, I got that too, but it doesn't matter. Solkas actually already got the entries, and now you can see exactly what we were talking about. They're pulling the rotate over. They haven't even fully committed yet. Now they're just finally getting out on the site. The Aldrone's going to spot one heaven. They're realizing that this site is safe, so they'll use the neural theft, and they'll go ahead and get that spike down. Great take coming in from Fish123. Solid attempt from SSK to slow it down.
Like Xiao trying to find a couple of shots in through heaven. Of course, completely able to shoot through any part of it. It's the whole board that can be penetrated. Artist swings around from the tree room. We'll find Eccles, but it's a quick trade from Link, and now down to 2v4. Going to be very difficult. The Scream will just take out Artist from behind, and now DinxJ on the retreat, and rightfully so. He's got the operator in hand. But I think the next round is the last round, and so definitely want to save that weapon. Almost found Solkas, but now that they know where he is, the hyenas, they smell that there's fresh meat on the platter, and Solkas with a great jiggle peek to swing around the corner won't go his favor, but Link on the opposite side almost met his demise. DinxJ, he's going to be taken out, and now that operator will not move on to the second round. Quite honestly, I don't think the defense even have enough to buy a new one, and so last possible round that we can look at the scoreboard. Bach, say your goodbyes, as this is the last round of the half.
Please stop showing me food. I'm hungry. It's not fair. I want to eat. Although I'm not necessarily as enticed by the meats. It's the cheeses currently that are hitting the craving spot. 8-3, Fish123 having a fantastic half on this attack side. A half that honestly reminds us more of NA play when it comes to Ascent. A lot of attack-sided halves on Ascent when you look at some of the matches we've seen in the past. But again, some matches, it's just so weird how things go down. There's the slow orb coming in. Xiao crushing the push from the market. It's going to peek for more. Tries to put a recon dart down, taken out by Eccles. But it's all up to Eccles here, the last man standing. Where was this so many rounds ago? Yeah. This style of defense. It feels like every once in a while we get a round like this. But for the most part, it's been the side of Fish123 who's just been in control. So this is honestly the outlier coming in from PartyParrots.
Yeah, they were just able to hold that so well. And I mean, quite honestly, we saw that. Wait, did he not see SSK? There we go. There we go. Close. Almost had it there. We saw how Artist played towards that B side. Every single time that they pushed, he put up a wall, he put up the orb. But there's only so much you can do, especially when the rest of your team are a little bit spread out. And I mean, rightfully so. It's a map. You got to defend all fronts as possible. But I just think Fish123 have done a great job on the attacker side, fishing out for information, denying information with the utility that they have, and then based on all of the above, able to decide, okay, we can funnel through mid, or we can just push B through the fish market, or we can just 5-stack from A long and really get the job done. And so whatever it may be, Fish123 had an answer for the execute. But now that we swap, it is up to PartyParrots to start to play the catch-up game, and it starts with the pistol. If they are able to win this, the odds can start to slowly stack back to their favor, but it's going to be difficult to do so.
I mean, it's been mostly the Xiao show for PartyParrots. He's moving up short, narrowly dodges that paranoia. Not sure how that didn't hit. It looked like it was right on the money. I thought it was paranoia. It could have been a dark cover, though, as I only saw it for a second come through. Flash from Scream, gonna push them back just a bit. They're gonna be heading on over towards the B site potentially, where you've got Link here. He's gonna go ahead and wall off the door that was already up. That's huge, gonna slow things down significantly. There was a counter wall as well coming in from the attack over towards mid, so that gives additional time for these guys to get into position without having to worry about that cross shot coming through. Inside the site, only one working out nicely, but as I say that, they start to pile up. It's Scream finding two, make it 3 on the round. Just oh so good from those back stairs in the 1v1 against Angel. It's a 9th round for Fish123, and that's not what you wanted to see if you're a PartyParrots fan.
Yeah, that round feels bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. When you put Scream in a position to succeed, he will take every possible avenue to do so. You know, you meme about his one tap, but he's been a rock for his team. Having a quick look at some of those replays on the round, the defense were able to just come back in and really hold off the plant, not even getting that extra bonus credits from that spike being planted. So now PartyParrots, they force up. Angel with the Bulldog will find an early kill onto Scream, and a pretty important kill, might I add. He will usually be the difference maker, similar to how he was in that last round. And now things open up here a little bit for the PartyParrots.
Xiao taking out that dart that was sent towards mid. Angel. Back in spawn was holding for that B push, excuse me. Right now it's gotten quiet after that early damage. Scream, not exactly the player you want dead in the early part of a round, but with a minute left, you can see Link is actually pushing through right now on B main. This is huge. They're starting to come up catwalk. If he can time this right, he might be able to get some of that intel. Eccles right around the corner, waiting for them to push through, has the paranoia. Again, we talked about how strong Omen can be on this map. They are all blinded and flushed out of position. As they go for the peek, though, the blind wears off, and they're able to get that entry. So fish123 may have won the pistol, but the force buy right now working out well for PartyParrots. There's Cryptics in sight with just an SMG, and what is happening?
No.
It's clipping the edge of the box. Unable to connect the SMG. Took forever to find that kill, and now it's Link who pushed through on B main, but the site's already been lost. This is a difficult round to watch them lose.
You know, similar to how fish123, I think it was they forced up on the second half, on the second round. After PartyParrots, they won the pistol, and then fish123 really threw them for a loophole. Now PartyParrots, they're giving them a taste of their own medicine, and now it's just down to Link. He's got the Spectre and heavy armor, so quite the investment from him, and full utility across the board. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to pay off. Going to try to at least find one exit for his troubles, but now they'll start to funnel in. They really have no choice. SSK going to be now stuck between a rock, a spike, and a slow orb, but it's Link that'll find the headshot, but two Sages don't make a right. They will both explode with the spike, and now a round on the board for, I believe it was the PartyParrots.
It's PartyParrots,
yeah.
You got stuck in your puns.
Yeah. I was. The train was moving, and then we pulled the emergency stop. But thankfully, we're back in motion.
It was a tough blow losing Scream early in that round. We mentioned it. He's been playing so well for them. I mean, we'd say that on most maps, but this map in particular, he's been playing great. Screamy 2 Dreamy right now for fish123. He'll be over towards Cat, and he'll probably have some players coming his direction. Sends that Tremor down towards the B connector in mid, where there is a dark cover out currently. Decides to back off. Because again, you can see this really passive approach right now to the defense. Scream and Omen, Eccles, they're in spawn. Part of that is because of what they've brought into this round. It's not like they have the greatest utility. They've got Solkis on the Judge, who's playing over in the Cubby. They're going to send that recon dart out. And this is a nice read from PartyParrots, understanding that this is a dangerous round to just wander in and try and take duels. Don't want to afford, or don't want to lose those guns, can't really afford it. And also don't want to allow an upgrade for one of these players on defense. So they're working their way slowly towards B. Artist going for the Jiggle Peek, hasn't spotted them initially. Nice dink shot coming out, though, onto Artist. So Link, great work to spot them initially. Goes for the slow orb, but there's actually no one coming in through the market as of yet. There's a late play coming in from that position by Angel, but the rest of the team is actually in B main.
Angel going to be paranoid here. Thought he saw a couple of footsteps from Eccles, but it's the Sheriff that takes quite some time to come online, and swinging out to have a look towards the fountain will be greeted with hail of bullets from Xiao, and now they'll look towards that A site, but it's the read from fish123. They expect this Scream with the early one. They'll still start to funnel through, and it's the team that pushes together wins together, but Cryptics will be the wrench that is added to the plan. That's like going to go down, but the rest of the defense now starting to push through. The shotgun not going to do the job, but it's a wild round. Cryptics, though, will find the last and final frag. You saw there the hero play from Solkis. He tried to get a little bit athletic there, jumping off of the Raptors with the Judge, but he gets shot out of the air. And Cryptics, thankfully, he was there to find the last and final few kills.
I feel like this has been a trend across this game thus far. Neither team likes losing the pistol, and they want to force in the round that follows. And then if they lose that one, they're going to force again. Like, they just keep forcing. It doesn't seem like either team wants to surrender over that additional round after losing into what should be a save. So we watch fish123 win the pistol, and then we see PartyParrots win the force buy. Then we see fish123 win the force buy. I'd imagine we'll probably see PartyParrots go for a force buy here. It's going to be a back and forth. It's dependent upon what the money looks like right now for PartyParrots, whether they can even afford to actually go for that level of force. SSK picks off Solkis, who went aggressive with Scream. There's still one over here, and he's stuck behind that box. Scream maybe wanted to go for it, but yeah, they do have some power behind the buy. You can see Xiao's on the Vandal. The door is going to get destroyed as Scream wants to move towards short and try and defend that territory, but it is a 3-on-3. At least there's some damage dealt to that Cypher, who's currently working up long, but Sage is still in play for both teams, so the heal is available for both sides. It's just a matter of whether or not they can connect the paths there for the Cypher and the Sage on the attack. Scream, putting that Bulldog up on his shoulder, actually ends up working with the burst fire onto Artist. Xiao there with a response. Again, it's the Xiao versus Scream 1v1 duel that consistently puts us in these scenarios.
Cryptic's going to be trying to flank from behind after that dueling has commenced. Cryptic's with the swing, and just like that, fish123, they're one round away from match point, and they're definitely making the PartyParrots work for it, and I'm going to assume that off of that force buy, they will not have the economy in the round to come. But having a look at some of these highlights, it seems that one of the main reasons why these rounds have been so back and forth is to these individual 1v1s that go one way or the other. And you talked about it, Xiao and Scream, it's been the battle of those two for some of these rounds, and in previous maps it's been Angel and Scream, and so really it's down to some of these early picks or early entries that decide how the round might go, but not always the case. See how fish123 are able to continue this momentum that they've built up.
Initially, my mind said fish123 would win this series. After watching map 1, I thought, okay, maybe not. But here we are. They're still in control in this. Eccles, despite taking out the cam, whips down with that crosshair on the Bulldog, no less, and makes it work. You're going to see the Brimstone ult popped by Angel, trying to clear out the tree room, but they've still got to contend with quite a bit of power here on the site, most specifically Scream. And as that tremor comes through, they decide to back off. Artist does have mid control, at least a little bit of it. That dart's going to sail up over his head, gives away the position of the Sova. But Artist taking his time currently in mid while the rest of the team comes forward. Again, Link pushes on B main. We've seen this a couple times already, where Link has managed to push through free and clear onto that T-spawn area just outside of the B connector in mid. The ult's going to get popped by SSK, actually sends Angel up into the sky, so he's going to be dazed and confused for the moment. Length with the Ares at distance, no less, taking out the Sage in Artist. Scream still in sight, able to find one before going down. Eccles picks off another, and it all falls onto one here. Back behind the default boxes, can't even get the spike secured. Xiao will get picked off by Link, who's upgraded from the Ares to a rifle. 12 rounds now on the board for fish123. They are ready to close things out here in map number 3.
And I got some bad news for you, Bach. That was the force up that we just witnessed from the PartyParrots. You're seeing now 1,900 credits across relatively the entire roster. So going to be a very broken buy for them. You talked a little bit about the battle of the force ups. Well, this may be the last and final force up for them, as they don't really have the best weapons to deal with fish123. And that's actually played somewhat of a factor. We've seen some of these rounds go over to fish123 with some broken weapons. Imagine what they're capable of when they've got everything that they need and everything that they want. So Angel, he's got himself a Guardian and no utility, only one smoke. I mean, I think he might have used some earlier smokes, but no Molly, no Stim Beacon, he's got nothing available, and some early shots not going to net him an early pick.
Shock dart right on the money. That's going to put Angel down on half HP. Has to burn the heal coming in from the Sage. Slow play right now. We're at a minute. And we haven't really seen too much action outside of that early damage. So, where do they decide to go? They're going to grab that orb over in B. They have to be careful. Everyone knows that that recon dart with the Sova on the other side means that bullets are likely to pour through those paper-thin walls in B main in a moment. But it doesn't end up happening as they back out of position after grabbing orb control. Wall's going to go down on B main. The bulk of the bodies right now for PartyParrots is actually grouping up over towards A anyway. And we're going to see an ult here coming out from the Sova. You can see the pulses coming through from that Hunter's Fury. Actually takes care of one. Shao, though, going to have to move into the site to regroup with the rest of the team. It's down to a 3-on-3. Make that a 3-on-4 as the res comes through onto SSK. The Neural Theft popped as well to give away the positions. Down to just 12 seconds left in the round when they secure the spike.
Yeah, the heal comes in, the res comes in. They're looking to make this still competitive. They want to close things out now and sit comfortably and await their opponents tomorrow. Fish123 can get it done here. They're going to start their entry forward. Echo's going to be the first one that hops in. Artist will take him down. They know that there's a couple of members in hell, but they don't know that they're shooting in from below. Artist and DinksJ will find two. Link, the last one standing, manages to get, I think, the frag from below. Or sorry, from above down below. And now the 1v3, not very looking likely for Fish123 here. Link just going to back away. Spike going to tick down, and SSK might be the last one that gets to escape. And he'll be seeing Link from a distance. Shots going to connect, and it's the 1v2 now that remains, and Link will save the weapon. With 1 HP, none other than 1 HP left. PartyParrots, they're still alive, but Bach, for how much longer?
Right, you got to ask yourself, how long can they tread water? That's ultimately what you need to ask yourself is can they keep themselves afloat and fight this game back? They were down 6-0 on Bind. Or not on Bind, on Haven. First map they played in the event. And they managed to make it a 6-6 half. So we know they're capable of doing that level of comeback to a certain degree. It's whether or not they can do it when they know their backs are against the ropes. That was just a first half. It was not a big deal. PartyParrots, they need to win 6 in a row to force overtime. Then they need to win 2 in a row to win the game and take the series to find that spot into the semifinals tomorrow. A brutal series thus far. It's gone back and forth at various points. PartyParrots took map 1, Fish123 took map 2. So both teams looking better on maps than we maybe anticipated them to. But it's been all Fish123, and you can see exactly why. This is the man. This is the reason. Scream has just been oh so good here on map number 3.
We see Eccles, he got it to the spot earlier on. Unfortunately, he will not find the shot, and I really thought that that would have been, you know, the nail in the coffin, but they still keep it competitive. Down to 2 now for the side of PartyParrots. It's the 2v4, no less, and they'll try to spray through, but it's the Hunter's Fury that is causing really a difficult push forward, as now they will finally commit, trying to close that door, but it might be broken before it is even done being closed. Artist, the last one standing. They're looking for the knife. Scream was the one hunting down, blade in hand, and it's Solkus. Fish123.